What's going on, sports fans? I am JD, and welcome to JD Sports Talk. Now, as you can see, couldn't even do the intro right. I'm so pumped. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. Tonight, some of us are not going to sleep. We're too excited. Some of us are nervous. Some of us are anxious. But what we do know is that we're hours away from the 2021 NFL Draft. We're going to find out who our teams are going to draft, and I cannot wait. I know you can't wait. I think you guys are going to like this video, so please stay tuned for the rest, the full video, because it's going to be fun. Real quick, I just want to give a special shout out and thank you to our subscribers. This is the 4th video on the channel, the first on the New York Football Giants. We have over 220 subscribers, so thank you very much. I so highly appreciate it. If this is your first time on the video, and you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe. And make sure you hit that notification bell so that you're notified every time that I go live or that I drop a video. Now, let's get right to it. Let me give you the table of contents. We're going to get right into the mock draft of, my objective view on how I believe it's going to pan out, right? This is not biased. This is not computer generated or website generated or any of that. It's just basically what I believe is going to happen. There's going to be a surprise or two, because guess what? Every year there's a surprise or two. So a lot of these mocks have the same group of players, but we're all guessing where they're going to go. So we're going to get into that. Then we're going to get into who the Giants are going to draft at 11. We're going to get into some highlights of this player. We're going to get into a little bit of a report, get some strengths in there. We're going to cover who I believe the NFC East, who the other teams. We're very important to know who your division rivals, where they may be headed. So that's very important. Please tune in for that. And then to cap it off, I have a special video I want to show to the Entertainah. Shout out to the Entertainah. Very good friend of mine's, and one of the leaders in the Giants community. So I want to show a video to him because we're presidents of the Hog Molly Club, and so you'll know what I mean when we get to it. So that's the table of contents. Let's get right to it here. We're gonna go into the mock draft, and away we go. All right, so yeah, baby, let's get it. All right, so as you guys see, this is the top 10. This is JD's mock draft. And to start it off, we're not going to cover some of these. Some of these are very, very obvious, right? Trevor Lawrence at number 1, self-explanatory. Best quarterback prospect since Andrew Luck, right? And number 2, I think the New York Jets are going to go with Zach Wilson. That's pretty cut clear. Number 3, I have Justin Fields going to the San Francisco 49ers. I just think with their system, with Shanahan, they're going to, Justin Fields is an attractive prospect because of his speed and his ability to, play off the pocket. At number 4, this is where it gets interesting. First of all, I think this is where the draft starts, right? Because I know Kyle Pitts is drafted here a lot. But I think the Falcons go with a little surprise here. Matt Ryan is 35 years old. And as an organization, if you don't believe that you're going to contend for a Super Bowl next year, right? This may turn into an Eli Manning, Daniel Jones situation. This may turn into a Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers situation, where this is the perfect opportunity for a young quarterback to come in and sit for a year and learn. Right? And Trey Lance fits that bill because he's known, people are scouting him as a raw quarterback, but very talented, young quarterback. So I think the Falcons go Trey Lance, right? Because also, again, if you don't think you're going to contend next year, then what if you're 8-8? Then what type of draft pick are you getting? So now if Matt Ryan is 36 years old and you're going to be looking for a quarterback with a middle of the road draft pick, or you may be in the same situation the Giants, you may be picking 10 or 11, and now you have to mortgage your future to go into the top 3, top 5 to draft a quarterback. So I think since they have the pick now, I think they pounce now and they go quarterback. Obviously, if they go Kyle Pitts, I mean, come on, I'm not going to be surprised by that, right? At number 5, I got Jamar Chase going to the Bengals. I just think with the connection with Joe Burrow, it makes sense there to just, continue to develop and build around, Burrow with a connection that he just is acquainted with and has great chemistry with. At number 6, I got Kyle Pitts going to the Dolphins. I just don't see Kyle Pitts going past 6. Number 7. Now here, the Lions are, they didn't expect Penei Sewell to get to this point. So I think they pounced because, with Jared Goff, Penei Sewell could be a, bookend tackle for the next decade. So I think they go there. I don't think that this was their first draft scenario because they probably didn't think Sewell would get there. But since he is there, I think they pounce. At number 8, I think with the trade with Teddy Bridgewater, now I'm not saying that, the Panthers are 100% all the way committed to Sam Darnold, but guess what? You're somewhat committed. You traded for him, and now you're traded Teddy Bridgewater, which signals, unless they somehow surprise and they trade up into the top 4, I think this signals that they're going to give Sam Darnold every single opportunity to fail or succeed. And it makes sense because this is a year of a lot of young quarterbacks that have to produce, right? Sam Darnold has to prove it. Daniel Jones has to prove it. You got, Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is going to have to prove it. You have a lot of young quarterbacks. David Carr has to prove something in Oakland this year. Jared Goff is in that situation with his contract where he has to, prove something. So this year, all around with quarterbacks, is a very important year for young quarterbacks in the NFL. I think at number 9, the Broncos have J.C. Horn as their top-rated cornerback. A lot of people think he is the best cornerback in the NFL. And if you look at the history of the Broncos, they like those physical corners. So I think they go J.C. Horn. And at number 10, you got Patrick Surtain. And I mean, this pick is self-explanatory. He's been mocked there months from the time the draft order was put into place. They have the Cowboys going with Patrick Surtain. Now, I will say this. If Rashawn Slater's on the board, I think the Cowboys may be tempted to go Slater just because they got Dak Prescott, returning, and they made a big investment in Dak Prescott. And so you made that type of investment. You're paying him that much money. I understand the defense is a weakness, but you also want to make sure that your quarterback is in the absolute best position to succeed. And that offensive line is getting a little older. It's getting a little bit of injury prone-ish. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if Slater's there. He gets drafted. That's why I don't think Slater gets to the Giants at 11. Now, the moment we've all been waiting for. With the 11th pick in the 2021 draft, right? The Giants are now on the clock. Dave Gettleman, Joe Judge, Patrick Graham, Jason Garrett, everybody has an opinion. The clock is ticking. Patrick Graham is probably vouching for Micah Parsons. Jason Garrett probably says, give me DeVonta Smith or Waddle. I can, doesn't matter who you give me. But they have to make one decision, right? They have to make one decision here. And I think they go with Jaylen Waddle from the University of Alabama. Let's go. I'm so excited, man. Jaylen Waddle from Alabama. Now, look at this quote from this personnel director of an AFC team. Says that kind of speed, speaking of Jaylen Waddle, changes everything when it comes to game planning for other guys. They have to account for him anytime he's on the field, and that's going to help your entire offense. And so, I think, when you look at that quote, right, you see what, this player can provide for you. And so he is an explosive guy. He's scary fast receiver, and he's a dynamic player. And Jaylen Waddle is a New York Football Giant. And man, I'm so excited. Forget this JD hat. We're going with the Giants, baby. Let's go. Welcome to the New York Giants, Jaylen Waddle. So pumped. Let's go. Kenny Golladay, Jaylen Waddle, Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton, Evan Ingram, if he can catch a pass. Oh, I will be so excited to play the Washington football team in that, great defense. We will destroy the Cowboys defense. And I will be so excited. I'm not even going to mention the Eagles. The Eagles to me are a team that's rebuilding. But we'll see. You never know. This, we always try to predict things, and things always never pan out the way we all think it will. So much respect to the other three teams. It's all fun and games. But Jaylen Waddle, New York Giant. I think this was a tough decision in the war room. I think, a lot of people were pulling for Micah Parsons. The Giants are in a good spot. They're in a good spot, but I just feel like any pick they draft, especially if Micah Parsons on the board, if Jaylen Waddle's on the board and Rashawn Slater, or DeVonta Smith, Rashawn Slater, DeVonta Smith, Micah Parsons, either or, however this thing pans out, it's going to be a much talked about draft pick. But I think they hit here with Jaylen Waddle, and everybody's excited, and now we get to dream. And I think the anticipation for training camp and the season becomes worse, because you're just thinking about Kenny Golladay on one end, Jaylen Waddle on the other side. Jason Garrett, no excuses. No excuses, my friend. No excuses. And we haven't even talked about Saquon Barkley in this whole equation of weapons. Daniel Jones, no excuses. The one thing that will be a dilemma is the offensive line. Now, this mock draft is just for the first round. I believe if they go Waddle here, they will address the offensive line early in the draft, second and third round pick, definitely for sure. Just because you have all the weapons in the world, but you need protection. All right. So we're going to get into what I call the Waddle report. The Jaylen Waddle report. Now, as you guys can see here, Jaylen Waddle, scary speed and second gear, right? Now, he didn't run a 40. However, they say that, reportedly before he went into Alabama, he actually was timed at 4.37 at the 40. So scary speed, and he has a second gear that he can get into at the top of his routes. He's an exceptional, now this is very important here, exceptional cross routes. Now, when you look at where the Cowboys could go, right? The Cowboys could go Patrick Surtain. Now the Cowboys will have Trayvon Diggs and Patrick Surtain, two big long corners, right? What is the weakness of these type of corners? Cross routes, right? Those speedy cross routes players, because now these corners have to turn their hips and chase some of these players, so a Jaylen Waddle could be actually a mismatch for bigger corners in the NFL. So that's something. He's very fluid guy, can change direction, he can run the curl route, he can run the flat, he can run the post, he can run the comeback. Any route, he can do it with fluidity, being that, he's such a highly coordinated receiver. Very important. He's a dynamic punt returner. He's a career 19.3 career yards as a punt returner. Now, why is that important for the New York Football Giants? Well, we have been craving for a explosive punt returner, and Jaylen Waddle may be a player that can provide that. We have some very capable players, and Julius Peppers is a very good on special teams, but Jaylen Waddle is different. They call it different. He is a different type of, explosive, dynamic player. And the player comparison, Tyreek Hill. Everywhere you see, everybody says he's a Tyreek Hill. So I think the Giants see the opportunity to create this little dynamic play in their playbook and give headaches to the defensive coordinators. And he would be just amazing for the New York Football Giants. Now, in my opinion, this is how I think it could play out. However, DeVonta Smith can also be the pick. He's the best route runner in the NFL, so he may very well be your draft pick here. But if they're both on the board, I think the Giants go with Jaylen Waddle. And now we're going to get into a special video I want to show to the Entertainah, to those that don't like the hog mollies, right? To those that don't think we should draft, Slater in the first round. Listen, that's why I said this draft, this mock was about how I think it should go. In my opinion, I will go Slater if he's there. He's obviously not in my mock, but I will go offensive line somehow. And the reason is what you're seeing right here. You can have all the weapons in the world, but if you don't protect the quarterback, as you can see here, this is Patrick Mahomes. Look at the games the Tampa Bay Buccaneers lost. How did they lose those games? The offensive line did not show up. In the NFL, at the end of the day, this NFL game could change all it wants into a passing game, into this game, into that type game, the refereeing, whatever you want to call it. But one thing has held true from generation to generation, is generation proof, in my opinion, is the trenches, is the offensive and defensive lines. A defense can sometimes carry a team, can't necessarily win you a Super Bowl, but it can carry you. Just look at the Bears all those years with Rex Grossman and all those quarterbacks, and look at the Washington football team last year, right? Great defense can carry you to a certain extent. But when you have a great defense and a great offensive line, sometimes a decent quarterback can actually win you the big game. So, I just think that the Giants they better address offensive line in the second or third round if they go wide receiver in the first round, because we may see this from Daniel Jones next year if we don't shape it up. And I think they like their tackles. Nate Solder, I think they might give him a shot to play some, because with a year off, they may be thinking, he's much healthier. Joe Judge coaching now, he may be a little bit more serviceable. They like Shane Lemieux. We'll see. Guys, this was fun. I can't wait. Thank you for watching. Again, guys, thank you very much for watching. Real quick on the NFC East, we see the Cowboys go with cornerback, Patrick Surtain. Jaylen Waddle goes to the Giants. I think the Eagles go DeVonta Smith in this scenario. They have to live to, regret to pass on, for passing on CeeDee Lamb. I don't think they make the same mistake this time around. They want to give Jalen Hurts as many weapons as possible. I don't think they let DeVonta Smith go past 12. Washington football team, in my mock, I have Zaven Collins going to the Washington football team, linebacker from Tulsa. If not, I can also see them going Christian Darrisaw, the tackle from Virginia Tech, or the linebacker from Notre Dame. Jeremiah Owusu Koromoa. And I believe I got that right, Koromoa. So, thank you guys for watching. Can't wait for tomorrow, hours away. Stay tuned.